Good evening, Prescott Valley. Welcome to the February 14th, Valentine's Day Parks and Recreation Commission. We'll start the evening off with the roll call. Kathy?
Chairperson Freyer.
Here.
Commissioner Avalos.
Present.
Commissioner Trevini.
Here.
And I know I missed someone. Commissioner Gummer.
Yes. And
here.
And Ron.
And Commissioner Brinkman.
And Commissioner Brinkman.
No love for you tonight.
Is that how they do? Well,
There you go. Yep.
Happy
There you go.
Valentine's Day,
doing
Ron.
that
No,
wrong.
you had it right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you got to
Happy Valentine's Day, Ron.
Okay.
Next item is the approval of the agenda. If everybody's had a chance to review the agenda, any changes, we'll take suggestions now. Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
We'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next item is approval of the meeting minutes from January 10th, 2017. If everybody's had a chance to review those and offer any suggestions for revisions. If not, I'll take a motion for approval of the minutes from January 10th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes January 10, 2017.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And the minutes are approved. Now moving on to the fun stuff, the announcements. Leave that with Mr. Brian Whitty.
Yes, sir. Yeah, with your permission, I'll roll right up through all of these since we have about 5 quick announcements for everyone. If you have not already and you intend to participate in our Adult Spring Softball League, please do so. Registration is open. Excuse me, until this Friday, February 18th. Our Adult Softball League is scheduled for men's and co-ed play starting Sunday, March the 5th. There is a mandatory managers meeting scheduled for February 23rd at 7 p.m. That will be held here at the Civic Center facility. But please get online, take a peek at that, or give us a call at the office, 759-3090, for adult softball spring season registrations, $270 per team, again, co-ed and men's leagues. Registration open until February 18th.
How's registration going so far for that? Is it filling up quick?
So far, so good. We do have some divisions that have filled, others that are still open in doing that. In addition to spring softball, we have our spring volleyball league. We have a very successful fall league that's in the process and scheduled, unfortunately, soon to be concluding. But that's exactly why we have our spring season scheduled up. This is a co-ed Tuesdays and then women on Wednesdays. Our times are 6:30 to 9:30, and our activity is conducted at the Glassford Hill Middle School. Registration per team is $150, and games will be scheduled starting March 21st and running through the season until May 11th. Open registration for this activity is available until March 11th online at pvaz.net on the Parks and Recreation page, or again, give us a call at the office at 759-3090. And Buzz, you're playing this year.
Yes.
Having fun?
Yes, very good league. Jessica's left, Bobby's taken over. Things are going smooth. Teams are having fun. Great time. No problems. Everybody's just out to have fun.
Excellent.
That's what it's supposed to be.
I was going to say the only incident report relates back to Vikings fans. So,
Right.
Right.
And, of course, it's because we're always disappointed anyway.
There you go. All right. Next up is our men's 3-on-3 basketball. We have an A and B division for our league. Games start Thursday, March 23rd. Cost is $150 per team. This is a 7-game schedule plus tournament. These games will be played also at the Glassford Hill Middle School, starting as early as 6:45 for the times. And registration ends for 3-on-3 men's basketball on March the 10th. So any questions on that, please again refer to our website or call the office, 759-3090, and ask for our athletic folks, and we'll get you lined up and headed in the right direction for those activities. In addition to that, if I can claim a little bit of time to help promote the Arts and Culture Commission and their activities, our 14th annual Youth Arts Month celebration is coming up. This runs throughout the duration of March 1st through the 30th. This is held at the Civic Center on all 4 floors. Will become a art studio for all of our young people in grades K through high school. This is a wonderful opportunity for each school and the associated instructors and students to showcase their efforts, skills, and talents. Our reception will be held on March 1st. That is a Wednesday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And this fantastic event is conducted in cooperation not only with our local public and charter schools, but also with the Prescott Valley Art Guild, who serves as our judging jury. So awards will be handed out in each of the various age categories, 1st through 3rd, and then the top award-winning instructor also receives a $100 gratis gift certificate for art supplies to continuing their education of those students in those schools. So please put that into your schedule. Again, Wednesday, March 1st for our reception. The entirety of the display will be the month of March. And again, it's held at the Civic Center, and we look forward to you enjoying all 4 floors of display of artwork of all of our students here in Prescott Valley.
Brian, I'd just add to that, I would really encourage the public to come out and see that. The artwork that these young student artists put out is absolutely amazing. Some of it looks professional, and it's just so different, so diverse. The teachers and the students do an excellent job. So I just encourage everybody to get out and tour all the floors in Civic Center, because there's different things everywhere. And it's just really something exciting to see.
Very much so, and you're exactly right. This is 2- and 3-dimensional work, so there's a variety of ceramic and wire sculptures and things of that nature that will be table-based as opposed to the 2-dimensional work that will be hung throughout those 4 floors at the Civic Center. So it is a very nice, diverse display of artwork by our students. Our last item for announcements this evening is that the Arts and Culture Commission has their 2017 Call to Artists now available for the Art at the Center program. This is all of the outdoor durable art sculpture that is located not only here on our campus, but throughout in a couple of the parks as well. George Anderson and Bob Edwards host a couple of our different sculptures that are part of this program. But we are seeking artists that would like to submit their applications for varied work that they have. There is absolutely no cost in this program. It is free to apply. And the works are on display here at our campus for the entirety of the year that will start in April and May. The application deadline for this program is March 30th. You can get your applications online at pvaz.net. You can give us a call at the office, 759-3090. We'll be happy to mail that out to you. The application will give you all the details in regards to the timeline, the application, receptions, display period, all of those wonderful opportunities. All of the artwork that is part of this program is available for sale. So we help market that. We have sold pieces as far away as Florida and China. So in doing those things. So it's a tremendous opportunity for thousands of visitors that come to our campus and our community that review these things, and we're very excited about this annual program moving forward again for another fabulous year. So if you know folks that are out there that are sculptors and outdoor artists, please encourage them to consider looking at this program and sharing their talents with us.
Good. Sounds like an exciting time for the arts and coming up soon. Great. Next would be the department update.
Yes, sir. Besides the report that you have in front of you, which is a combination of mine and the departments as a whole, there are a couple of highlights, unfortunately, that I want to pull out. One of them, if you note on the statistical pages for the month, you will see quite a dramatic rise with a dollar value as it relates to vandalism. give you a little report and background on that. Unfortunately, we had some young people that thought it was in everyone's best interest to take a couple of Christmas trees and stuff them into a restroom facility and light them on fire in an attempt to burn the place down. We were very fortunate that folks were able to respond to that quickly. Officers, fire, adjoining folks that were in the park, making notification of such. We were able to put that out, but it came at a cost. And every time we have an incident of vandalism, whether it's graffiti, in this case arson, or damage to playground apparatus or what have you, it takes money out of the system to be able to replace and make things whole again for everyone to be able to enjoy. So I applaud those folks that are keeping their eyes open, heads on a swivel, being able to help out. But beyond that, I would also encourage folks, be smart. There are other things to do with your time and your energies beyond these kinds of things. And they're not productive. And we are here in this community to be productive folks. We grace this earth in that manner as well, too. So I would encourage everyone to look at it from the greater good perspective and the overall process of what parks are here to do, and that's in service for everyone's enjoyment and utilization. So again, thank you to everyone in doing that. We had another episode in another park where a neighbor was very, very quick to react. Literally no damage or anything of that nature. I'm also very happy to report, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, programs such as our Adopt-A-Park and the critical role that they play, and the fact that community members are able to give back to the system. That's what this organization exists for, and those are the opportunities that abound.
Real quick, Brian, were the suspects apprehended?
We have quite a few of them that were apprehended and going through that process. So it is in court system review. There are unfortunately other aspects that keep totaling into this that we're actively pursuing out there. And so a nice big shout out to our police department and those folks that are working for us rather than against us in that process. So thank you to them.
Well, I think that's a great note to point out that we all have a stake in the parks and the public open spaces around. And if, just like national security, if you see something out of whack, it's your civic duty to say something and protect what we all invest in the community. So yes. Thanks for the report.
Did you mention what park that was?
In the most recent case, it was George Anderson, where we were able to negate things, compliments of the quick actions of surrounding neighbors. The other particular site was Mountain Valley Park. And so beyond that, graffiti, unfortunately, it's here, there, and everywhere. And so we take a very active role in that, making those happen.
Security cameras help prevent some of these incidents?
Those are some discussion items that are on the table. So that's part of that internal review and getting some proper guidance through that process. So not to ever say no, but that's what we're definitely conversing on and doing that. Again, we're looking at the neighborhood of reaching almost $15,000, $20,000 this year just in mitigating instances. So that's money lost, if you will, in doing that. In addition, on the bright side of my report, I am very happy to update you as it relates to the Boys and Girls Club expansion project. That was an item of discussion that Deputy Town Manager Ryan Judy was here with you last month. We have received those requests for qualifications that came in from the different architectural firms. We went through that review of all of those contributions. We have narrowed it down to the top 3. So negotiations are proceeding there following those reviews. So everyone was very much on board, demonstrated their qualifications, their experience. And so we were very pleased with those folks that did come forth with their interest in our project and are very excited to continue our timeline. And more information will be coming forward over the next several months, leading up to the point in time where we actually get into requests for proposals for construction. So we will keep you abreast of all of those items as we move forward. But just to let you know that we're definitely fast tracking and staying on that timeline of achievement, and that's where we're at right now with our architectural firms.
Good.
Excellent.
Great news for the youth of the community. Okay. Do you have anything else for the director's report?
No, sir, but I am happy to answer any questions you might have in review of that for the department as a whole.
I have a couple questions looking at the monthly report and looking at some of the numbers that are down as far as the attendance at some of the ramadas, et cetera, and then looking down at the bottom at the recreation revenues. Brian, we're a little bit lower than I think where we would like to be right now. How are we tracking, when I see how we're tracking as far as year to date versus proposed, but do you expect that we're going to hit those numbers by the end of the fiscal year?
I do. If you're referencing the far right columns in regards to revenues and where we're at, am I correct in your question?
Yes.
Okay. That is ultimately a comparison of where we are currently within our recreational revenues. It demonstrates that we are down 45%, but that's in comparison of the year before. So being that we're right at the midpoint, we're ultimately just 5% below where we would actually we're 5% ahead
5%
of last year
Okay.
in doing that. As it relates to then down negative numbers as it relates to facility attendance, those particular items as a total were up 3% overall, but we are down in regards to numbers in the bigger items such as sponsored facility. Those are those facility reservations that are made in support of our various youth organizations. They're down. That's just predominantly based upon not only the reservation itself but also weather. This has been an extremely wet winter period for us, so those numbers would reflect in that way.
So we would expect with nicer, warmer weather on the horizon that those numbers are going to go way up.
We will trend quickly.
Great.
Yes.
Thank
yes. No problem.
Any other questions for Brian? Excuse me. Okay, moving on to the chairperson's report. Just have a few items here to go over. The department has applied for a Go Green grant from Lowe's for American Legion Park tree planting, I believe, correct?
Correct.
And that application has been submitted and in review right now. So also another friendly reminder that the 12th annual Arbor Day celebration will be on April 28th at George Anderson Park, and starting at
That typically starts at 10
a.m.
and then we wrap things up with some activities and handouts.
Okay, so keep that on your calendar. April 28th, George Anderson Park. I know that's a stretch for you, Buzz, to get there, but see if you can make it. We were also notified of a donation from a community member for Old Town Park to help beautify it a little bit, so we appreciate any donations that the community is willing to make to beautify our parks, so that is very much appreciated. And lastly but not least, with all the wet weather out there, just a note to the public to be mindful of the trail conditions on the Glassford Hill Trail. There has been reports of rocks that have tumbled down into the tread and stuff like that. It's super muddy up there right now because it doesn't get much daylight when there's snow on the ground. So give it a few weeks to dry out completely. A few weeks of dry weather will do it some good, and back to climbing the hill at your leisure. But yeah, good trail etiquette revolves around not using the trails when they're soggy. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, that's all I have. Is there any
So
questions for
you
me?
were kind of thinking that we need to develop more trails down at lower flat elevations, that when it's soggy on the hill.
Yeah, it's something south facing. That tends to work.
Alternative trails.
That's kind of sounds good.
You know.
Now,
So
see what was
there's
unique.
options.
What was unique about that conversation, I was going to add at the end in regards to the snow and this and that. I had reports from young people that said how exciting it was to be up there and walking on a trail that was packed with snow and reaching the top because they felt like they were on Mount
Everest? Yeah.
in doing that.
I imagine
That even with all the cold and snow, it brought a warm spot in there that our young people are actively engaged up there on top of that trail and letting their imagination take them. And maybe that'll inspire them one day. That would be a pretty awesome thing. So.
Got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Maybe that's your first step on.
I don't know of any incidents of any sledding or tubing down the trail, but have you?
Whoa.
Don't encourage the public.
Don't sell me out like that, Pat.
Our vandalism there.
Okay, that's it for me. Any questions on my report? Okay. Moving on to Tree Advisory Board business. And we'll move to the director's report. Do you have anything, Brian?
With that, unfortunately, I have no more information as it relates to our 2 pending applications with Tree City USA and our Growth Award status. I can be hopeful that information might come to us in March, which is expected. But as of right now, I have no further information on that right now.
Very good. And in addition to Brian's report, I don't have anything else to add other than what I've already covered in the department chairperson's report. Okay, moving on to old business, park development guidelines. Brian?
Yes, sir. I just would like to advise the commission in regards to that process. As you know, we've completed our project over at Bob Edwards Park. Really, that was the project of implementation for those park development guidelines. Our architect in review has given us some feedback, some things that he is recommending to us to improve. So we're going to be working together with them. We're going to get some feedback in regards to some of the descriptions and illustrations and those kinds of things that, again, he feels based upon his interaction in the whole project, feedback that he's gotten from not only the general contractor but the subs in regards to highlighting details. There's been feedback from staff in regards to oops. Let's add, make sure those kinds of things, which is part of that process, and it'll be an ever evolving process in that way. But overall, the report is it has been fantastic in doing that. So we're very excited in that. So there are some fine-tuning of things that we want to work on a little bit more. Again, get that assistance from our architect and his team with that. Once that is done, then we'll be coming back to you all for official adoption and then with recommendation in doing that. So not that it's been lost, but it has been a period of time of inactivity, at least perhaps that's the feeling that the commission may have. It's not been lost. It's actually been a good process of revisitation, adoption, those kinds of things. So we're excited about it. It's been a fabulous tool through this project. And so it will be coming to you fairly soon as we get those things all wrapped up.
Very good.
And as we continue forward, we'll still be using those development guidelines, even as we modify them.
Correct.
So any new projects that come in, and each new project, there'll be some learning to look at this. I think we decided we'd be able to modify this all the way through.
Correct.
But we needed those guidelines to start.
Yes, and you've nailed it exactly right. That was our starting point. And as every park project evolves in greater levels of detail, there are elements that we've not gotten into that are current because this was our starting point in doing that. But as future parks come involved, whether they be neighborhood or regional-based parks, that scale changes and those processes. But we've really hit, I think, the devil in the details as it relates to the general process of what we're working on. And to your point, we'll keep adding. That'll be an ever-living document that will grow based upon the wealth of knowledge that we create for ourselves.
That's great. It's working really as the way we thought it would.
Yes, I would highly concur with that.
Great to have a starting point to sit down at the table with. Very good. Next is budget development.
Yes, very happy to report. The town conducted a series of community engagement processes as it relates to the town budget development. I know Commissioner Brinkman was at one of those, and I apologize if I did not see the rest of you at a variety of those. They were hosted in Pronghorn, Stone Ridge, Quailwood, and I'm forgetting one in Granville. Yes, that was the other. In doing that, every department received some feedback, some input. We received some general comments in regards to that. But budget development overall is in process. We've received the guidance of working within up to a 2% operational budget growth, so we're working towards that. You will recall in past years, our big growth focused on our parks division within the department because of the downtimes that were there and some quick items that we needed to address there. So now we're going to try to share the wealth in some of our other divisions as it relates to special events and athletics and those types of things. Some very significant impacts coming to this year's fiscal budget development will revolve around two fronts. One will be seasonal wages. We're all aware of Prop 206 and its passage. We're jumping minimum wage from $8.60 to $10 an hour. This highly impacts our aquatics division because it's a very higher level of applicant that we're looking for because of the requirements that they have to fulfill their certifications as a lifeguard and doing those things. So we'll be working to construct strategies for those types of things. And then we're also pursuing some investigation as it relates to outsourcing, not only in our landscaping, but also in our custodial services within our parks division. So we're going to be looking at those kinds of things and making those suggestions for not only management, but also council review. So those things are pending. Our timeline for entries is at the first half of next month, and then management presentation and recommendations from that point in time, concluding towards the end of March. Okay.
Have there been any discussions on updating the Parks and Rec master plan?
That has been a discussion at the town council's retreats, budget retreats that we've had. It will be an item that we will present within that budgeted recommendation for fiscal year 17-18.
And in regards to outsourcing your seasonal positions, is that across the board for the maintenance and the labor, or is that just...
As far as
hasn't been adopted yet.
No, by no means is it adopted. We are investigating those possibilities and what that cause-effect relationship, if there's savings to be found or a variety of different objectives to be considered. We're just making those processes through. As far as the seasonal employees that we're looking at, I was focusing on our aquatics, but it is across the board. So it is our park seasonals, it's our aquatic seasonals, it's our other event folks that are in that seasonal role that will be doing those things. And so that has its own little special nuance because not only is it next year or current year, because everyone bumped to the $10 minimum, but then it's $10.50 the next year, then 11, and then 12 by 2020. So this is an ever escalating, if you will, program. And so we're trying to go through those reviews and discuss those items. And when you do that, you know it changes things for everyone else as well, too.
Absolutely.
And so those are those strategies. So do not be surprised if next month I am proposing to you a variety of different review items as it relates to fee schedules.
Okay.
And doing that.
So we should be expecting a raise in our pay as well?
Actually, if you wanted to add that to other on your agenda, I would be happy to recommend a quadruple increase in your rate of 0.00 as the norm.
Three goose eggs is better than one.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Very good. Any other questions for Brian on the budget? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to new business. And I think we finally can start discussing and considering vice chairman election. This item has been tabled for 3 months. I think we have a majority of quorum right now. So with that said, let's get right to
Yes,
it,
sir.
Brian.
As we discussed last month's meeting, we were developing a slate of candidates for this opportunity for your discussion, review, and hopeful election this evening. From that period of time from last month, we have 3 candidates that have expressed their interest. This would be Mr. Buzz Gummer, Miss Elaine Fallman, and Mr. Danny Avalos. So with that, if you choose to open the floor, or I would presume that you're quite well attuned to their qualifications, abilities, and interests, it is on the table for the commission for their review.
Let me make a quick comment, and I would just say that all of those candidates are very capable and able. One thing that we're very fortunate in having everybody that's on this commission really can step in and do any job, and we rotate typically through the different jobs. So, but Elaine's going to be out for a while, so maybe would it be wise just to consider Buzz and Danny at this time?
We most definitely can, and if I'm out of line here, Commissioner Avalos, please set me straight, so I apologize for this. But to your point, Elaine has indicated that she would happily defer if there are candidates in regards to that, and I know that at one time Commissioner Avalos and I've had that discussion. If there are other candidates that he would also consider that deferment as a possibility. So I'm not stacking the table, Commissioner Gummer, just so you know, but those have been those conversations. Now, Commissioner Gummer does have a limited experience on the commission, so that is a consideration.
It's only my second meeting.
This is kind of like other programs. The original 19 years are just wiped away when he's gone.
Yes, non-existent.
So he's just a new kid.
That is correct, yes, non-existent.
Facts.
My
I
second,
don't know. We can make any story we want.
yeah.
So if it boils down to it, maybe a thumb war or something to that effect, I don't know. But I'll let the gentlemen speak for themselves and what their interest in is for your determination.
Oh, I'll open up and just state that it is in my best interest that this commission and the Parks and Recreation Department and everything that it does, seeing that we are going into the future and there's a lot of things, exciting things going on, and we're constantly expanding and growing. Commissioner Gummer does have a wealth of experience and knowledge in that, something that I have admired when I joined the commission and respect very well. So with that being said, I have no problem deferring my nomination in having Buzz Gummer as our vice chair.
Wow. That makes it easy
back
on
here.
us.
Well, I'd like to
anyway.
counter that as a matter of fact.
It's too late. I went first. You're in.
And again, it's like I say, I did some time on the commission, and I stopped and I'm back. But with Danny's knowledge and things, and being on the commission, also don't sell yourself short, because you know a lot of this knowledge as much as anybody else in this thing, and for the years you've been here, I wouldn't mind at all to see you start stepping up and stepping into the higher chairs, because your future is going to be one day the chair, and the experience you're going to get as a vice chair would be outstanding for you. So if you're really interested and you think you can do the vice chair, if you're going to see troubles, I know that some of us that still work or struggles to make meetings sometimes and things, but I mean, I would really like to see you, Danny, as our vice chair also, for you, the experience for years to come.
Thank you.
So, with that said, sounds like we have 2 deferments, so I guess we get to vote. It's kind of like Survivor. Buzz's vote
Yeah,
cancels out Danny's, and Danny's vote Buzz.
I guess we build fire, I guess.
So, with that, Ron, do you have any other words of wisdom?
I completely think either one would do an excellent job. So the one difference, I know Danny has a lot of obligations to work. So he may not be as available for like the tree committee and different things that possibly Buzz could. I agree 100% with what you're saying. Danny would not only do an excellent job, but it would be good experience. And I think maybe that would be something to look for in the future. However, right now, we're looking at, let's see, this is February, and when are our next elections?
Those would come in June.
So we're only talking a few months here. I would be willing to make a motion to nominate Buzz Gummer for vice president for the remainder of this term.
Sounds like a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All opposed?
Don't ask that.
Oh, that's right.
With that, Kevin, did you have anything?
No, I was just going to say Ron thinks we're still in the election cycle because he said vice president.
Oh, vice president.
Vice chair.
Okay, with that, Buzz
I'm watching
Gummer
too much of the news today.
has been elected to the vice chair for the remainder of the term in 2017. Congratulations, Buzz.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
Here's the
this
keys.
Second meeting. This is great.
That's a 3-year term, right?
Yeah, I get the company car, right?
You know, I really appreciated in his candidacy speech, I did some time.
Yeah, it's only going to be my second meeting.
We do know he has to go through a background investigation.
Yeah,
So.
I think we're still looking at that.
All right. So, what to take from this experience, Buzz, is the nomination in June.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's payback.
There you go. There you go. Well, congratulate and thank you, all of your candidates, for doing that, because I think all three of you definitely looked at it as, yes, let's move things forward. Let's grab a hold of it and doing that. And I would encourage everyone to consider, once we do come to June, those processes. Now, the chair wouldn't let him off the hook, but definitely the vice
One and
chair.
done, baby.
Look at those things. So,
You haven't done one.
yeah, there you go.
And it was a win-win situation with the three candidates that said they would step up. It was a win-win. There was no
Wrong choice whatsoever. I concur, most definitely.
Very good. Very good. Okay, next item is community engagement.
Yes, I'm striking the chord here with this particular item, and a lot of you were like, okay, what's going on? I wanted to bring your attention to a couple of things. Number one, a very, very sad note, and that was one of our community members passed away recently. The beautiful part of all of that is she's definitely in a much better place. But with that, as part of her estate planning and her family's planning, they are preparing to make a contribution to the Parks and Recreation Foundation. With those proceeds going to Mountain Valley Park, focusing on the dog park. So very nice thinking by this lady and her family. So we're very grateful that they kept the town and the Parks Department in their thoughts in doing that. With that being said, I would like to express to folks that they should strongly, if they have those type of interests and alignments in their life and moving a community forward, that could be a possible consideration that they could look at in doing those types of things. We're very fortunate here that we do have the Friends of Prescott Valley Parks and Recreation that is able to help streamline those opportunities for folks. So keep that in mind. Those out there in listeners land that would like to learn more about that, feel free to call me at the office, 759-3090, and we can help give more information about those kinds of things. Now, with that being said, and other opportunities for community engagement, we hit on a few of those things. We talked about our tree committee. We have a wonderful program, Memorial Tree. It's a donation process that folks can use as part of the remembrance of those that are preceding us. In addition to that, there's another awesome program about community giving back, and that's the Adopt a Park program. Those, again, both of those items we can share. One of our fellow departments here in the town, out of the Community Development Department, they have a program of volunteers called Graffiti Busters. So that's an opportunity. And then there are a wealth of other opportunities that are available, and everyone can learn more about those through Volunteer Central, whether it be with our department or other departments throughout the town and its services and businesses. Would encourage folks to consider that as an opportunity of being able to give back and in doing those kinds of things. So very excited about the opportunities, very grateful and thankful that some of our fine citizens have considered us and have been able to continue giving after they've given. So.
Absolutely.
Will we be able to acknowledge these gifts and from this person and the family?
We're going through those processes, so it would be hopeful in doing that. So we'll have those future discussions.
Okay.
Well, I think it's, I mean, probably falling on deaf ears here, but, you know, it's the people that volunteer that really help keep the community moving forward. You know, we all take time out of our personal lives to do this for the betterment of the community. And, you know, a good analogy that I've heard over the years is the world and your community is run by people who show up. So it doesn't have to be a big monetary gift. It can be your time, whatever time you have to donate. Just check Volunteer Central for those events coming up and find your passion and step up and help out. That's really what makes a community great. So, yes. And I know there's no shortage of great people here in Prescott Valley. So,
yes, you are correct. We have we have one Eagle Scout project in process. They're giving back to the Central Arizona Senior Associations and our facility over there, and they're growing other young scouts through that process. Anticipating next month potentially or the following. There will be a presentation given to you by one of our young Eagle Scouts working on one of his particular projects. Outreach, and yes, I'm preaching the Scout program here, but it is and it is not by coincidence that folks look to our department for these opportunities. There's a Bears Den that is looking for projects, and so we're in discussions with them, whether it be picking up litter, some of that trail definition work that we've talked about in various areas, and opportunities to give, and that can be done by various groups and a collection of individuals too. So awesome things that are out there. So.
Good. All right. Next item on the agenda, if there's no questions on community engagement, is the 2017 tournament schedule.
Yes, very excited to give you a little information and update in regards to our annual field allocation process. 2017 is going to be abound with tournaments within our community. So as part of an annual program, our Yavapai Youth Soccer League is going to be conducting their 2 annual tournaments, both a boys and a girls tournament. Each one of those particular weekends generally produces near or well over 100 teams per weekend. Those will be scheduled for March 31st and then April 7th. So those 2 3-day weekends, be prepared. Following that is the Arizona Youth Soccer Organization. They will be conducting a youth soccer tournament on April 22nd. In addition to that, we have the Amateur Softball Association. We have 3 individual weekends of softball tournaments, June 10th, July 22nd, and April 19th. We also have the National Association for Fast Pitch Softball. This is a new group coming to us. They will be conducting their tournament on the weekend preceding 4th of July. In cooperation with the City of Prescott, we have a bid in for a extremely large tournament, girls fast pitch, that will be the weekend of July 20 or the week of July 26th through the 30th. And then we are also hosting, as you know, the the NJCC, the National Junior College Athletic Association's men's soccer tournament, and that'll be November 12th through the 18th. Highly anticipating that our local program will be in that tournament here with us. So a variety of dates, very well-sized tournaments. We're very much looking forward to those. And as we all know, they're very important to our economic development, diversity. We'll have folks in hotels, restaurants, grocery stores, all around, and that continues to grow that benefit back to our community through that tax base activity. So very happy to report on those as Parks and Recreation continues to contribute to the town and its growth and development and enrichment. So
It's outstanding. That's many months worth of activities that fills the hotels and the restaurants. So kudos to you and your team for bringing those to our town.
Yeah, that's an amazing schedule, really. When you think of a lot of these tournaments probably bring in at least $500,000 in revenue to local businesses supporting the town. I think the only problem we have is we don't have enough hotel rooms.
right, and it is a regional benefit because especially when the larger tournaments, when we reach that 80, 90 and above tournaments, which we have 3 or 4 of those scheduled in our program. They're very far-reaching. They go into the Verde, all through our community, Prescott, Chino. So they're definitely a regional benefit opportunity that we do. And what's important is the cooperation that we have across borders, if you will, of communities to be able to provide that enrichment.
But a lot of that also comes from the Parks and Rec Department doing an outstanding job in maintaining our fields.
I appreciate that accolade, and you're exactly right. That's why folks do look to us. That's why we have a couple of these new folks, because of that interest. They look at that. 3 of the tournaments are coming directly out of the valley. That's where they're based. They don't want to be there. They like what they have, and it's just not summertime. It's all throughout the year that they come up here to work with us on those tournaments, and they enjoy our facilities.
The girls softball tournament, the first one you mentioned, is that one that's a regional one also, or is that just here in Prescott Valley?
As far as the cooperative with Prescott?
No, the one at the end of June, I believe it was.
Oh, there is one in the 1st of June. That would be the Amateur Softball Association. That is actually adult.
Oh, okay. And that's community-wide too? Or?
Am I correct on that one? Or Mr. Seifert's? Yeah. Adult, yes. Okay.
And then the girls' fast pitch, is that?
That was the cooperative.
That's the cooperative.
Yes, that's
okay.
that 90 to 120 program, and that's going to be 4 days,
Great.
utilizing all 6 of our fields and everything in Prescott as well
Outstanding.
to be able to support it. So, yes.
So maybe we could hurry and get started on our Parks and Recreation RV park.
RV park.
There you go.
And all the proceeds go into our Parks and Recreation.
There you
from
go.
Our
Look out.
RV park.
That's an excellent idea. So, any other questions for Brian on the tournament schedules? Hearing none. Next item's unscheduled public appearances. Seeing that the public's not in attendance this evening, we can move past that. Our next meeting will be our work study, our annual park tour on Saturday, February 25th at 9 a.m. We'll be meeting here at the Civic Center promptly at 9 and jump in the town van and take a tour of the parks that we have slated. I believe Fane Park and George Anderson and
Correct.
Fence Line and
Bob Edwards.
So please block out your schedules for that day. It should be an enlightening day and be able to see some of the great work that the department does. Okay, next regular meeting, Tuesday, March 14th, right here in the auditorium at 6:30 p.m. And with that, we're at the end of our agenda. Next item is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we're adjourned.